Okay, so leverage. We need to leverage debts. Uh, so you might be wondering, one of the things I mentioned in the last video is that lenders are the losers when there's inflation, especially when the borrower is leveraging the fund to create wealth at the above the inflation rate. So it's just a smart thing to do to amass a lot of wealth in this season and time that we are in. So my name still remains Okpeoluwa Oni. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video. So leveraging debt is not um, it's not a crime, so borrow as many vessels, and I would like to relate it with a story in the Bible. And there was a story that was shared about the prophet that died. Yeah, she died. The prophet died in death, and the debtors, of course, naturally, the debt recovery officers, they went to the house of the debtor. They want to recover the debt, and so there was a conversation that eschewed between the widow and the prophet, and the prophet told him, gave him an instruction. He said, go and borrow many vessels. So borrow as much vessels as possible. So that statement is actually a statement of leverage. Okay, so the vessel can either be money, the vessel can be time, the vessel can be various form of resources. It does not have to be that vessel, so-called vessel, right? The vessel can be time, can be money. So borrow as many vessels. So the time of inflation is actually time for expansion. It's the time for expansion because it is go and borrow many vessels. That statement is a statement of expansion. It's not a statement of just borrowing a vessel literally. It's a statement of expansion. It's a statement of accessing more funds. It's a statement of growth, right? Because when there's chaos, there's growth. So leverage is all about you taking advantage of the unused resources that are abound all around us. It's all about leveraging on your used resources all about. So when you borrow many vessels, the more naira is devaluated, so the more of the money, the less of the money you are paying back. Okay, so the more money you make right now, the more money that is available to purchase things, the more available goods that needs to be produced to be purchased too. So that is very, very, very important. So borrow many vessels. So how do you then borrow many vessels? That was talking about community. If you remember the story, the story was said that she went to all her community and gathered all their vessels. Few questions. How come the community too has empty vessels? That's very, very important. We need to take note. How come the community has empty vessels? How come the vessels of those community members are not filled up too as well? So those community has empty vessels, and it was able to leverage on those empty vessels. So you need people around you that has both empty vessel, both filled vessel in terms of your community. So you can decide to join a community where you can serve and also be served, right? It's very, very important. So community, cooperative, see, where people are, that's where money is. And that's one thing we really, really need to really pay attention to. So you can build your own community, you can expand your community. So sometimes even when God wants to bless you, the community you belong will be limited by how much the blessing is going to really, really, really happen. Because take for instance now, if you have a million naira problem, you have up to 10 people that can give you 100,000 naira. If you have a 10 million naira problem, you have up to 10 people that can give you a million naira each. If you have a billion naira problem, you have up to 10 people that can give you 100 million naira each. And that is very, very important. Very, very important. So then how do you build this community? How do you really build this community? Okay, so before we go into building communities, one of the advantage of debt, having debt in this age and time is the opportunity to create wealth is enormous. I mean, like I mentioned, that you need to understand in the previous video, the chaos in your own, the chaos in your own industry currently, right? You need to have that understanding. So when you, yes, debt, I understand the whole ideology of saying that a lender is the servant, sorry, the lender is the servant to the borrower, okay? But it is when the borrower has not properly leveraged on debt, that is when the lender is the servant to the borrower. I remember the story, I use Bible a lot, when Jacob was serving for the two wives, Leah and Rachel. Remember that at some point in time, this person, he leveraged on a revelation that he had, and that is very, very, very important. And he was able to use it to create his own wealth, and he created a wealth such a way that he became much more prosperous, and he was able to buy his freedom. Right, that is very, very important. So at every point in time, when you are creating wealth, your wealth must be, the debt that you are leveraging on must be sent on an era to create enough money to pay back that debt, create assets for you, and also what, to uh, to create more assets. So, and whatever asset that you are using to create must be an asset that can keep creating assets, that can keep creating assets. And that is very, 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 very important. Okay. So, yes, I understand that debt can be very, very bad. But you see, in case you have found yourself in bitter experience, number one thing that you need to deal with is mindset. You need to understand that the fact that debt in itself is not bad, but the debt that you have is now, is it, are you borrowing to consume, to pay consumables and all of those things? So if that is what you are borrowing towards, and that's where the problem is, but you need to borrow towards what can create more money for you. It has to be, I mean, at every point in time when you check your assets and you check your liability, your asset must be and must always be greater than your liability. And that is very, very, very important so that you will not enter into bankruptcy. Okay? Your asset must be more valuable and must be more greater than your liability at every point in time. Okay, so you have to, and at the same time too, you must have near liquid assets. That is very, very important when it comes to this debt thing and all of that. You must have a near liquid asset so that you will not you will not be embarrassed, because you needed to pay a 10 million naira, but you have asset over a billion naira, and you will not need to liquidate some of those assets at a ridiculous price. Okay, very, very important. So note it again. The way it works is when you are leveraging debt must be able to create an asset, and those assets, part of the asset that it will be creating, there must be a near liquid asset. It can be business that gives you cash flow on a regular basis. For instance, if you borrow money for expansion, we mentioned the fact that he was told to go and borrow many vessels. That means you need to expand. The kind of blessing that is coming, the kind of volume of cash and cash that is available. And you remember also too that we are in the season of excess money. You need to focus on that, right? The fact that things are expensive, but we are in the season of excess money. People have not stopped spending because there's inflation. People keep spending. In fact, people are spending more now. So that is the opportunity that we all have to amass more wealth that we have never, never, never seen before. Okay? So the vessels that he borrowed was to to accommodate those blessings, right? To accommodate those oil so that he can go and sell. So anytime you are borrowing money, it must be to have something that you can go and sell. So even if those people come back and say, okay, yes, I need to collect my jar back, right? I need to collect my jar back. I need to collect my vessel back, right? There's an asset inside that vessel. In fact, if they decide to collect their vessel, their jar with the oil inside, in a way, the table has been turned. The table has been turned in such a way that they are not the one owing her, because now they have an oil. It's even a strategic way to even sell the oil. Okay, so debt in itself is not bad because we have assets that are going for a ridiculous amount of money and that you can really, really take advantage of. So prayerfully and systematically, strategically, think of debt that you can access right now and In fact, government is mopping fund to tell you how bad, how much cash that is really in the society. I saw something today that very, very interesting. The United States government has printed 7 trillion naira, the $7 trillion out of the thin air. $7 trillion has been printed out of thin air in the last 10 years. And more than that, half of that money was printed in the last 3 years. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so this is where I'm going to be drawing the curtain. So take advantage of debt, as many debts, accumulate it as many as possible. Okay, so do well to like, share, subscribe, and have a great one.